guess what? Breweries do it too, meaning we try to reduce waste. About 70% of everything you see in our brewery tasting room is living its second chance there. This is our beautiful tasting room, tap room. And now, about 80% of what you see in our brewery is living its second chance. So this right here are the baseboards throughout our tap room. Those are the fence wood where my husband, our brewmaster, grew up as a child. So about 6 years ago now, when his mother went to replace the fence, he said, don't throw that away. We can use that in the brewery someday. Mind you, our brewery's only been open about 1.5 years. But like a lot of the stuff we did for the brewery, we saved it for many years, hoping to be able to reuse it in this fashion. This is the bar that's in our brewery. The bar top is all reclaimed wood. The bottom there, those are Lost Abbey barrels that they aged beer in, and we got those barrels from them, took them apart, power washed them, stained them ourselves, and then affixed them to the bottom of our bar, and they now serve as our beautiful, one of the many beautiful features in our brewery. This is a water feature that is a repurposed tap system. So when the Rock Bottom Brewery closed down downtown, my husband, that's where he and our other business partner used to work for, was Rock Bottom in La Jolla. But we got a lot of the stuff that they otherwise would have probably thrown away, including this tap system. And then my husband, who is a very creative man, as you will see, said, we can make this into some sort of a feature in the brewery, and he did. But we had to put up a sign that said it's not water, because people kept trying to fill their glasses with it. So we actually recycle the water and reclaim it, so there's very little waste in the water that we use with this water feature. These are what we call Craig's cans. This is one of our head brewers came up with this idea to take some of the barrels that we now age beer in. We only do it one time, but instead of throwing those barrels away, we break them apart, and then we use the grain bags that we get our grain in to make a trash can out of these, and they're all over our brewery. So we have all of this furniture that you're seeing here as all second chanced itself. So up here on the far left, you'll see there's booths. Those booths were, as I mentioned, taken from the the Rock Bottom in downtown when it came out. That spool there in front is a basic construction spool that we picked up literally from a neighbor's back alley. On the bottom other side here, you'll see that these tables, the tabletops we all took from the Rock Bottom downtown, and then the bottoms we used were construction discards from our own construction when it was undergoing. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of waste in construction. They literally buy 25% more than they need, and they will throw it out. They will throw it out. It's really sad. And so we were seeing this happening, and we were trying to salvage as much as we could and reuse it in the brewery, which we did. And then this beautiful table here in the middle, as we do at the brewery, we really tell this story about trying to upcycle, recycle, reduce waste. It's part of our story. We're very proud of it. And so a lot of our regulars know about it, and one of them came in and said, hey, I have this big table. We no longer can fit it in our new house. Would you guys be interested in doing a trade? So it's now, as about 3 other tables that you'll see in our brewery, living its second chance in our place. And this, you can kind of see, is a light fixture. Those Lost Abbey barrels, my husband took the rings from those and designed this himself. So those are very beautiful, as you see. But it's not just in the tap room, but we actually reuse and recycle and repurpose a lot in the brewery. These are pictures of grains. This is just one brewing on what is ours is only a 30-barrel system, which in San Diego is like a tenth of what like a Ballast Point or an AleSmith might make on a typical brewing day. So you see how much grain goes out with just one 30-barrel batch. Rather than trying to have to dispose of that in any other way or try to throw that away. We have a farmer who comes down from Escondido and picks up this grain to feed his livestock. Also picks up from other breweries. He saves him thousands of dollars, saves us from having to, get rid of it, and then also finds a way of, feeding his animals really great food. We also, in the brewery, really reuse water. So there's a process that we use water when we have a hot boil going. We use that water to cool down the boil, but then that water actually gets recaptured and reclaimed into another tank that either we use that water then for cleaning, which cleanliness is next to godliness in brewing, if you don't know that, or that water itself can be used for the next brewer for brewing like a double batch in the same day. And then finally, we use the pallets. We get a lot of deliveries, and so we get a ton of pallets. We use those pallets either to ship ourselves, or we have a ton, probably about 8 pallet planters that we've done with succulents in our brewery right now, and so we've stained those pallets and reused them to do the succulent planters in our brewery. We've also never once purchased any sort of shipping materials because we get, again, a lot of deliveries. We save all those boxes, we save all those packaging materials, and we use them to then reship whatever we need to do ourselves. And then for our charitable efforts, we are quite charitable at the brewery and into the community. So we work with organizations like Second Chance Dog Rescue. This is a group that actually saves dogs from kill shelters and environments, and so then gives them, a second chance at life in another first foster home and then a forever home. We then did a rescue event this last year with Pity Palooza, or It's the Pits is the name of the organization, because pit bulls usually need a second chance a lot of times. Breast Cancer Angels, this is an organization that gives women who are in financial need and who have breast cancer basic needs, meets their basic needs, like giving them cash cards, and at this time it was around Christmas, so a lot of them couldn't afford to buy their kids and their families Christmas presents, and so this organization gives them money, and on one night at our brewery we raised almost $3,000 for this organization. And then this was just a local neighbor in our community for Beer Week. A lot of events, you probably know, there's thousands of them that happen during Beer Week, but this was a neighbor that had come into our brewery. We found out she had the most aggressive form of breast cancer. She was a single mom of 4 and was trying some alternative treatments. So instead of doing your usual Beer Week, typical event with a pairing or whatever, we decided to do a fundraiser specifically for her. She's not a 501c3. We don't get any tax benefit from that, but we're just being a good community partner and making sure that she and her family get their second chance. And guess what? We work with this organization, with Zero Waste San Diego. We're going to be doing fix-it clinics at the brewery where people can bring their broken items, stuff that don't work, and can come into the brewery where the volunteers from this organization will fix it and teach them also how to do such things so that we reduce waste. So check that out. Give you a good reason to come visit the brewery if you haven't been there already. We're also having fundraiser with an organization called Smile Train. They work with not just throughout San Diego, but all over the world to help kids that have cleft palates and lips and get them the surgeries that they need so they can smile back at the world. And then our major fundraiser that we really are proud of is we work with Donate Life San Diego. They're the ultimate second chance, right? They give someone a second chance at life. They're the organ and tissue local of the Life Sharing California organization here in town. So that'll be taking place on Saturday, March 11th. Do a big raffle and auction. We also have a VIP area that goes along with that, and we raised, our first year out was only a couple months after we opened when we did this, and we raised almost $2,000, so we're really hoping to at least double that this year. And finally, what we're doing beyond, I think, what we have in the brewery and what we do in, our tasting room is Beyond that, into the world, we're now starting to get at least 25% of our merchandise to be second chance. So these hoodies up here were made from 50% recycled plastic bottles and cotton scraps. That long sleeve women's tee was made from 100% plastic bottles. It's one of the softest things I own. It's amazing the quality of the stuff too. It's a little bit pricier, but we take lesser margin. That's what we do as a company. But then we also really try to market that aspect into the world, and we use taglines like "Be the change you want in the world," so we get people to understand that their buying decisions make a difference, and they are and have been willing to pay a little bit more for this stuff. And finally, as all of you know, any kind of effort like this takes a village. And this is mine. This is our team. And without them, I couldn't do this. We all really, like I said, our brewer came up with the trash can idea and all of these events they helped me put on, and the fundraisers and whatnot. So I want to thank them as I finish up here. And if we have time for questions in the end, I'm happy to answer them.